And so locked into Portland right now. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, law enforcement in another liberal city had decided to side with criminals instead of the laws they were sworn to protect and uphold. This comes after the Portland police chief broke down in tears while confirming that Tren de Aragua gang members were involved in a Border Patrol officer shooting. And so now, of course, Democrats are angry. The left has taken to the streets to riot in another blue city, this time Portland. And so smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you love the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and share this video. That way more people see what's really going on.
As Portland is now grappling with its own shooting involving a federal agent. Yesterday, a Border Patrol agent shot a married couple after stopping their car in Portland. CNN's Nick Watt is in Portland this morning. What we know, it is obviously still very early there where you are, 4 o'clock in the morning. But what are you learning this morning?
Well, Sarah, in terms of the investigation, the word is evolving. We now have the Oregon Department of Justice launching an investigation. The FBI has already launched an investigation into what they say was an assault on officers. There were vigils here, as Whitney mentioned. That incident in Minneapolis has spread across the country in terms of protest vigils. There were vigils here last night. You mentioned those 6 arrests at that ICE facility. Most of them were for basically standing in the way of traffic in the street and not moving when police told them to. What we know of the actual incident so far, Sarah, 2:19 yesterday afternoon, we're told, CBP Special Unit did a targeted stop of a red Toyota. That's what one source tells us. And when the officers identified themselves to the people in the car drove off, one source says, striking the officer. Now, the first that the local police heard was a 911 call from the driver of that car who said that he had been shot twice and his wife had been shot once. They are now receiving medical attention. We understand that the man was shot in the arm, the woman was shot in the chest. Now, we are hearing from Tricia McLaughlin, the DHS Assistant Secretary, who says that both of those people in the car, the married couple, were connected with Tren de Aragua, the multinational crime organization that's based in Venezuela, that the woman in the car was connected with a prostitution ring and had perhaps been involved in a shooting recently here in Portland. This is a statement I'm going to read from Tricia McLaughlin. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger fleeing the scene. So the reaction here in Portland from local politicians and from the people is they don't want ICE here, is what the mayor and others are saying. So it's going to be fascinating to see if protests, vigils develop today, and also what happens with those evolving, as we're told, investigations into exactly what happened here in Portland. Sarah?
We must remain united in peaceful opposition to efforts to tear our community apart.
Oregon's governor and Portland's mayor called for an independent investigation into the shooting and said the, quote, recklessness of our federal government is leading to violence across the U.S.
We're calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland. When the administration talks about using full force, we are seeing what it means on our streets.
Now let's just use some logic here. You got 2 people who are in this country illegally. One is a woman who is apparently involved in prostitution. And we find out that they are a part of one of the most violent gangs in the world. And the officers' lives were put in danger. Yet politicians, Democrat politicians, come out and say they don't want ICE in their city. I'm sorry, but how is that anything but politics? Because it's not about protecting women. They don't care that the woman was involved in prostitution. It's not about getting gang members off the street who assault law enforcement officers. It's just about staying committed to a talking point, no matter the cost. And so check this next part out, where Oregon Democrat state rep called Border Patrol agents shooting 2 Tren de Aragua gang members that tried to run them over in Portland excessive, ladies and gentlemen. You're getting ran over with the vehicle by illegal immigrant gang members. It's excessive if you use your weapon to defend yourself, according to Democrat reps in Oregon. Take a listen.
We are doing what we can as elected leaders to call for an end to this excessive force, for an investigation, and ultimately for peace and a safer neighborhood.
You called it excessive violence. Do we know that it was excessive violence? We haven't seen any video of this yet. What Homeland Security says happened is that they were going after gang members who were in this country illegally, who were then driving a car at them, and they feared for their life. How do you know that it was excessive?
I'm absolutely supportive of our Department of Justice's call for an investigation into what happened today. So I am eager with many of my neighbors to learn more about what happened.
This is the lie that Democrats like to use. She says she's eager to learn more about what happened, while at the same time already making declarations about the sequence of events, even though she doesn't actually know all the facts. And at least at this point, the facts we do have appear to be in favor of DHS. It's just funny when you break down the logic these people use, because there isn't any, at least none that makes sense.
Can you tell us a little bit more about this incident that occurred in Portland where two Venezuelan illegal immigrants got into an altercation with CBP?
So absolutely. So Border Patrol agents were doing targeted enforcement on two known TDA criminal illegal aliens and conducted a traffic stop. They initially stopped, and as we approached and verified that those were our targets, they fled, aiming at an agent, attempting to hit that agent, and that agent discharged his weapon to protect himself and the others. And to no surprise, we've seen, like you said, the ramming incidents continue to increase. And this rhetoric is what's calling it. Ultimately, the vehicle fled. We were able to later locate the vehicle. The two individuals had already been transported to the hospital, and we have warrants for the arrest of both of them and are waiting for their release from the hospital, where they'll be taken into custody by the FBI.
Are you surprised, or what's your reaction then to hear the governor of Oregon, the mayor of Portland, describing this as very similar to something that happened in Minneapolis, or something as part of a national larger trend of threats to the public from ICE and Border Patrol enforcement?
And so, not surprised coming out of Oregon. What's shocking, though, is that the rhetoric that they are putting out, the constant lies that they're putting out to their constituents, saying things like kidnapping, disappearing, it's encouraging these people to continue violating the law.
What I've been mentioning this entire time is that these ICE agitators, whatever you want to call them, don't know who these officers are pursuing. They don't. And that's what's so disturbing about all of this. Because it's not like you're going to see the criminals on TV doing interviews saying, thank you, liberal protesters. Thank you, ICE agitators. Thank you for stopping. Thank you for allowing us to escape. You're not going to see that. And that's what makes this so dangerous. Not just for the officers, but for the public. Because what you get instead are people who think just because they may not have dealt with an interaction where they see the crime, they see it happening, they don't think it exists in their community.
So we're at Northeast 146 in East Burnside. This is where Portland police officers found the two people who were shot by federal agents. And just to sort of set the scene for you, this is a very residential area. We're surrounded by large apartment complexes. As you can see, there's the police tape there. There's officers walking around. There's more than half a dozen Portland police cruisers. But I want to pan it back over this way. I have a man, his name is Alex. He lives right next to where a lot of this police activity is unfolding. So Alex, talk to us. What have you seen today?
When I was coming back home and I didn't see the actual shooting, but they had the whole street blocked off. And just in talking to people, it sounds like somebody was trying to get away from them in their car and was shot. That's the most that I've heard.
Can you describe sort of the tone of this neighborhood?
We're all just working class people. There's a lot of immigrants. I think everyone around here knows that. But they keep to themselves. They don't cause any trouble for me. I live right here. They don't touch my stuff. When I have problems, it's from U.S.-born people.
How does this make you feel watching this unfold right outside your doorstep?
I am beyond angry that this is happening the day after they killed that woman. I mean, this has gone too far. This is beyond voting. We need to do something. Like, the people need to do something. This is ridiculous.
Have you seen ICE agents come into your neighborhood before?
Not to this complex, but I've been kind of waiting for it because I had a feeling that they were going to be here at some point. I've seen them on Division, and I've seen them at the MAX stations, but this is the first time they've been on our street.
What would your message be to these federal agents?
Get out of my city. You're not welcome here.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. We're going to keep following this and talking with neighbors as this unfolds tonight. Back to you.
And so basically he's okay with illegal criminals living next door as long as they don't bother him, right? Because just because someone who commits crimes hasn't harmed you doesn't mean they haven't harmed anyone else. It doesn't mean they're not out here breaking the law. But it's the weak men like this who don't understand structure, rules, and the fact that you keep a community safe by removing those who are dangerous and committing crimes, even if they spared you personally. I personally believe men like that are a reason why you see chaos able to run so rampant in places like a Minneapolis, places like a Portland. That, and also when you look at the leadership. Take a listen.
It's still ongoing, so I don't have details. And what I can say is there is an association with the two folks yesterday and TDA. I hesitated to even share this information initially because I'm very aware of the historic injustice of victim blaming, oftentimes portrayed by law enforcement, including this very agency that I've represented so proudly for so many years. And historically, we have not been quick to disclose the potential criminal history of others. I want to speak for just a moment specifically to my Latino community. It saddens me that we even have to qualify these remarks, because I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger. This information in no way is meant to disparage or to condone or support or agree with any of the actions that occurred yesterday.
Wow. That's disturbing. You got the police chief crying over gang members that got shot after they tried to use their vehicle to assault an officer. It's truly disturbing. I mean, who knew? I'm sure some domestic gangs out there. I'm sure the Crips and the Bloods out there turning over in their grave right now, looking at this saying, police in America crying over gang members getting shot? Man, I'm sure they feel like they got the short end of the stick. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm sorry. Sure, they wishing maybe if they change their name to L Crips or L Bloods, then they get some crocodile tears for some liberal police chief who sympathizes with them more. I mean, give me a break, really. I mean, seriously. He's crying because he has to actually admit to the fact that these people who were in the country illegally, who are gang members, trying to assault ICE officers, and they had to defend themselves. And he's crying about that. And then trying to somehow, a head scratcher, connecting that to the Hispanic community. I mean, because they're gang members and they're Hispanic, you're connecting that directly to sympathize with the Hispanic community. But the reason why this has occurred is the Democrats' fault. They have no one else to blame but themselves, unfortunately for them. In these sanctuary states, in these sanctuary cities, where they do not want to cooperate with federal law enforcement, with ICE. That keeps everybody safe. When you choose to work alongside instead of thinking that somehow you're going to defeat or outduel the federal government, you're going to lose every time. It's not going to end well. This could have been done so much easier if you would have gave them access to the prisons where the criminals are, and you keep everyone safe, and you guys work together, but they didn't want to do that. Instead, they followed the direction of the Democrat leaders in their states, and now you got chaos ensuing across different cities, blue cities, as a result. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Preventable things. All of this is preventable. You don't have ICE watchers if ICE watchers can't go into the penitentiary. ICE watchers can't get access to a state prison, the local city jail, but out on the streets where they're allowed to stalk ICE agents, federal officers conducting operations. Yeah. Then you're going to get situations like in Minneapolis when people decide to make reckless decision after reckless decision after reckless decision and inserting themselves in federal operations. And like you got in Portland also now. And now you got a police chief crying over gang members. Wow. But let me know your thoughts. Those are mine. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you love the video. Subscribe to the channel for more and share this video. That way more people see what's really going on.